What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. As you can see, we're throwing it to a seasonal weapon from last season and Season of the Haunted with Bump in the Night Stasis Rocket Launcher. My personal opinion, took the spot of the Plunder B for the best Stasis Rocket Launcher that we have. Now, as always, we're going to be going over the PvP and PvE god rolls for this bad boy, starting out with the PvE roll, which I am in the process of crafting. Just need to get my materials up because I've been banging out a lot of weapons. So these are the stats that we have on the rocket, how I have it built out. Very good with chill clip to stun those enemies, especially if you have something like Galahorn backing you up, giving you wolf pack rounds. So for our masterwork, if you will, intrinsic trait, we're going to go with reload speed, especially since we're not having auto-loading holster or something like that on this weapon. Reload is super key, having that at 68. Now for our first perk in our launcher barrel, we're going to go with volatile launch because it gives us an increase to blast radius, helping us do that little bit more damage and clearing out an extra area of effect for those adds. Now for our magazine here, definitely going impact casing because it increases damage on direct hits, helping us with that higher DPS, helps us with our stability, not that that matters too much, but definitely want that damage on direct hits to be increased, especially since we're pairing it with the tracking module. In my personal opinion, locks onto targets when aiming down sight. It also increases our blast radius. Now if you do choose, you can also go auto loading, so you can switch to something else and do a little extra damage or field prep when you're crouched. Definitely reloads super fast, probably the fastest for a rocket, but for me, tracking seems to work the best because a lot of our bosses move and strafe a lot. None of them usually just sit in one single spot. Now for me, I'm throwing on chill clip with this, so direct hits with the top half of the magazine cause a detonation that slows nearby targets. Stability is also improved, so this helps a lot with those bosses. You get that stasis to freeze on them after you hit those direct shots, and like I said, with wolf pack rounds, this helps freeze those higher enemies, especially bosses when you're doing DPS. Atheon, Oryx, Sisters, not as much Oryx because he's gigantic, but something like that. Even War Priest, it's nice to throw that on if you're using rockets, even though that can go either way because you can shoot each other in the back of the head. But chill clip, definitely what I'm going with, and you can pair this build with Stasis, Font and Might to get them even bigger with the DPS range. Moving on to the PvP god roll, which rockets are up and down for me. I personally choose grenade launchers over rockets for the most part in heavy, just because they seem to be more consistent. But this right here is built out for a higher blast radius, so you can hit those guardians behind walls as well. Right here, we're going to go with the blast radius masterwork on it, so we can crank this stat all the way up to 55. Now for our launcher barrel, again, we're going with volatile rounds because it has that biggest increase to blast radius for us, even though it does decrease projectile speed slightly. In our magazine, we're going with blast powder, so it does slightly increase our blast radius. Once again, just seems like the best option that we have for our magazines in the PvP realm. Now for the third slot, again, I think I'm going to go with tracking module here just because guardians are slippery and sly. You could go with steady hand if you want to. That provides handling for your other weapons when you get a defeat with the rocket, but going tracking just in case someone's trying to run away from the heavy after it's been popped. You can get this locked on and absolutely annihilate them. Now we're going to throw on Vorpal with this as well because it is going to help defeat those guardians with their super active, and it improves our reload speed. So this is nice when you're using the rocket against those enemies in their supers inside of the crucible. Like I said, I personally go with grenade launchers, but this right here is going to be my crafted PvP roll for the Bump in the Night. Once again, just trying to get my materials up for this weapon, but definitely my top stasis rocket that we have, including the Plunder B, is also very nice, but this one definitely takes the top of the cake for me. So hopefully y'all can get to crafting this. It's available from doing those containments on the dialect Leviathan, and then you can get those rewards as well from doing our Sever missions. You can use that opulent energy to decrypt those umbral engrams there at the helm inside of the Crown of Sorrow, getting you a red border once a week if you want to craft this. So thank you guys so much for that support. Truly appreciate it. Get to crafting this Stasis Rocket launcher for an amazing, amazing weapon.